Welcome to One Step Past. I'm Bucky Wild, and this is way past strange, weird rain. It isn't just water that rains down from the sky. Sometimes even water doesn't fall like it's supposed to. There are a lot of cases of this that science can actually explain, but there are some mysteries of weird rain that have never been solved. Here are 8 such cases of really weird rain. Number 8. The Kentucky Meat Shower of 1876. It was a clear, sunny spring day on March 3, 1876. The town was Olympia Springs, Bath County, Kentucky. The specific place, Alan Crouch's farm. Between 11 a.m. and noon, Mrs. Crouch was on her porch making soap when chunks of raw meat started raining down from the sky all around her. She and Alan watched for several minutes as the meaty rain fell all around them before it stopped as suddenly as it started. The meat covered an area 50 yards wide and 100 yards long. Of course, the neighbors wanted to see this, and they came in droves. What kind of meat was this? Most people thought it was beef because it had a similar color and smell. A local hunter thought otherwise, however, claiming that the uncommonly greasy feel of the meat was more like a bear. But then a small group of guys said, "Let's end this debate right here," and decided to taste the meat. Their official decision was that it had to be venison or mutton. Then, to get in on the action, the local butcher had to give his thoughts on it. He took a taste and claimed it wasn't like flesh, fish, or fowl. If the butcher can't tell one meat from another, I don't want to do business with that guy. Police from the town gathered samples of the meat and sent them to chemists and universities around the country. Some of their theories are pretty wacky, and none of them sufficiently answer what caused chunks of meat to fall from the sky on a clear, sunny day. Chemists at Louisville College in Kentucky couldn't agree on whether the meat was mutton or not. When it was clear that nobody was going to agree on what the meat was, the focus shifted to where the meat came from and how it got there. William Livingston Alden of the New York Times theorized that the falling meat was the result of a meteor shower. For real! Apparently to him, it just made obvious sense that a belt of meats revolved around the sun, and sooner or later chunks of it just rained down on the earth. Yes, because meat rain is so commonly reported all over the globe. Not! Hey, what else can you expect from the New York Times? A scientist by the name of Leopold Brandeis claimed the meat shower was simply a shower of nostoc. What is nostoc, you might ask? And why would this be so simple and obvious to assume? Nostoc is a genus of cyanobacteria. It takes on a jelly-like appearance when it comes in contact with rain. Brandeis' theory was that what people thought was meat simply bloomed on the ground, and whatever fell from the sky was simply a normal rain shower. Simple, right? I don't like to be critical of people in my videos, as I consider what I do to be informative. I present topics with an open mind. However, one guy was either stupid or high or both, and the next guy was just ignorant. These aren't legitimate scientific theories at all. It was a clear, sunny day. That's just a matter of recorded fact. The Crouches, all their neighbors, and the authorities saw meat. Some of them even tasted meat. At the very least, it looked like meat. Most of the people suspected it was beef. Beef chunks don't look like jelly. The one theory, however, that sort of became accepted as the main answer to the puzzle is one of the stupidest things I've heard yet. This came from the mind of Dr. L.D. Kastenbein. Apparently, a flock of vultures decided to all vomit at one time and puked meat all over the Crouch's property in an area that is 50 by 100 yards. That's a lot of vultures and a lot of meat. If that's what the vultures puked up, how much meat did they still have in them? And where did they get this meat? Not to mention the fact that some people actually ate the meat. One thing that we didn't hear from anybody is that the meat looked spoiled or digested or that it smelled bad. They just couldn't agree on what type of meat it was. And meat doesn't taste like jelly. Not to mention the fact that most of these meat chunks were 2 by 2 inches, with at least one piece being 4 by 4 inches. Does puked up vulture vomit measure so consistently? If I haven't made it clear yet, this is a garbage theory too. Officially, the cause of this phenomenon is still inconclusive. Number 7. The Australia fish rain of 1924. This case might have a possible acceptable explanation, but it doesn't make it any less weird. It was March of 1924 in a town called Longreach in Queensland, Australia. Fish rained down from the sky. They measured anywhere from 1.5 inches to 3 inches, and they were very much alive. I bet you supper was easy that night. A lot of people believe this is just a case of a tornado passing over a body of water, sucking up fish, then depositing them somewhere else. This phenomenon is also called a waterspout. It can actually start in the water or start on the land, then move to the water. Believe it or not, this was not the first or last time fish, frogs, and other aquatic creatures have rained in Australia. Number 6. The singled out tree of Stillwater. This is a little known, little mentioned incident. I'm not saying this to pick on Oklahoma at all, but that state does have its share of bad weather. In the early 20th century, there was a long, hard drought. One cottonwood tree, however, was on Mother Nature's good side. This tree, and only this tree, was rained on every day for 2 weeks. A lot of cultures have made claims over the centuries that trees call the rain. Could this be such a case? Is there something about a tree that can actually pull rain from the sky? Number 5. The Asia Minor grain rain. I wish I knew more about this case. In the early 20th century, a small village in Asia Minor was on the brink of starvation during a very serious drought. All of a sudden, a shower of grain fell on the village, and only on this village. There was no storm. The villagers found that the grain was edible because their sheep ate it and lived. The village was saved. Number 4. The Lake County Sugar Shower. This is a similar story to the Asia Minor grain rain in the Kentucky Meat Shower. It happened in Lake County, located in Northern California. On 2 separate nights in September of 1857, sugar crystals rained down from the sky. It was apparently safe to eat because some ladies even made syrup out of it. To this day, no one has given or offered any explanation. What I think is the weirdest of all is that it happened on 2 different nights. It wasn't just a one-shot deal like most weird rains. Number 3. The Bristol Hazelnut Rain. It was March 13th, 1977, in Bristol, England. Hundreds of hazelnuts rained down on a parking lot. Hazelnuts were well out of season, but the falling nuts were perfectly fresh, and they only landed on that parking lot. This is multi-leveled weirdness. Number 2. The Southampton Seed Rain. This is another weird rain story from England, and it happened almost 2 years later. It was near the town of Southampton on February 12, 1979. A rain of seeds fell on houses and gardens. They were mustard and cress seeds, some of which were covered by a jelly-type substance. The next day, pea and bean seeds rained down on the same location. Some of these seeds were collected and planted, and they yielded excellent produce. The seeds fell only on this area. over 2 days and nowhere else. In this way, it's similar to the Lake County sugar shower. Number 1. Jelly-filled Dorset. It was in Dorset, England, 2012, when Steve Hormsby found blue balls of jelly all over his yard. They came down with the hail in a recent storm. All of them were 1 inch in diameter. Hormsby collected a few of them and put them in his fridge for further study. He would later find out it was unnecessary because they didn't melt at room temperature. Researchers discovered that the substance was actually sodium polyacrylate, a substance used in things like potting soil or diapers to absorb liquid. So we know what it was, but how did they arrive in the hail that landed on Hormsby's yard? That part is still unexplained. These are just 8 cases of weird precipitation that can't be fully explained. There are many cases like this that simply don't get the attention they deserve. You also have to take into consideration that there might be incidents of weird rain that no one has reported. This is a much wider spread phenomenon than you might think, and knowing that makes it way past strange. Thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, hit like and subscribe. Comments are also welcome. Stay tuned for more fantastic out there videos.